Welcome to Uncomfortable, where real conversation meets unwavering faith. Hosted by Kirk and Vince, this podcast dives into the tough topics, the ones the church often avoids, the ones that make us wrestle with our faith, the ones that challenge us to grow. We're not here to stir up division. Our heart is to encourage, to uplift, and to press into the gospel with boldness. Because growth happens in discomfort. Faith deepens when we're willing to face the hard questions. So let's lean in. Let's explore. Let's learn. Let's walk this journey together. This is Uncomfortable. Ready to shake up the conversation? Let's get started. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Kirk, joined by Vince, and today we have two special guests with us. Guys, you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Chad.
And?
I'm Nathaniel.
And these two gentlemen are going to join us with this show today. We're going to talk about mentorship. Vince, you and I have talked about mentorship several times on the show.
Right.
And one of the things we've never been able to get away from is the fact that it's so important to be impactful into somebody else's life by inconveniencing yourself. And I know by saying inconveniencing yourself, I'm almost cussing at somebody out there.
Oh, yeah, you are.
Because it's never good in our eyes, right, to say that I have to carve out time out of my day, maybe not go to the gym one day that I want to, or maybe not go to a movie, or maybe I don't play a video game that I want to play because I need to pour into somebody and spend 1 to 2 hours with them at the coffee shop or taking them out to a dinner or something,
Right.
and talking to them about life, talking to them about what's going on in their life and letting them pour out, and then let Holy Spirit get in the middle of that conversation.
Yeah. One of the things that's when you talked about the inconvenience of it is, so a lot of times there's some people that think of mentoring as, okay, you're coming to me, so I'm going to put these things out there and you just have to inconvenience yourself. But the truth of the matter is, if you're going to be an effective mentor, you do have to inconvenience yourself as a mentor, because one of the things that you have to do is constantly be living in a state of growth and uncomfortableness yourself, which means that you also should be in a place where you're being mentored some way, shape, or form. You should have people that are at least holding you accountable for your life and lifestyle, if nothing else, so that when you are mentoring others, it's not just something that you're like, okay, here, you go do this and report back to me, and I'll look at my little book and see if you hit all the points and the cues. It's not. It's true mentorship is a very organic thing. Even if it's, unless it's something specific, like a topic, like you're being mentored by someone for a specific position in IT or even like a blacksmith or something, like, I know that's really old school and people don't typically do that anymore, but even like in plumbing or in electricity and all that's such a specified topic. And there might be a 1, 2, 3 ABC to it. But then the longer you're with someone, as you progress in that, you find that there are these oddities even in that stuff, where they start teaching you these one-offs. They start teaching you these things where you are like, okay, there's a better way to do this, there's a better way to do that. Well, why didn't you teach me that at first? Well, you had to learn the basics first in order for me to get to the point to teach you this. So there's these little one-offs even in stuff like that. But for the most part, if you're doing mentoring, like you're doing life with someone, and you're helping to mentor them through life stuff, it's a very organic in ebb and flow to it. There isn't always a report back to this. Like, one of the things that I have make them do occasionally is read books, read certain books, and I hold them to, hey, have you finished that chapter yet?
Nope, not yet.
Not yet. And so,
Well, that sounded like a confession, Chad.
Nope, not yet.
Chad being one of the
Still
people
on
that I
chapter
mentor.
2.
So one of the things so Tad just recently got a promotion at his job. And one of the things I was telling him leading into that is there's some things you have to work on in your life. One of them being making sure you have proper boundaries. So I referred him back to an oldie but a goodie, the book called Boundaries by
That's a very good book.
right, and has endured the test of time thus far. And so it's funny. I gave him that book to read, and last year in my son's junior year, who happens to be here today, I made him read that book as well, so that he, as he's heading off to college and things like that, he has an understanding of what healthy boundaries are. So when I said for him to read that, my son said, wait, what was it? You said something like, oh, that's a really good book. I might need to read that again.
Uh-oh.
I did.
And he just read it like 6 months ago.
Oh, there you go.
And he's like, I might need to read this again.
Well, you know, one of the things that you talked about is it's good to have accountability partners, right?
Right.
Or someone that, at minimum, to keep you accountable. And it reminded me of Dr. Bill Hammond. You know,
yeah.
he's been in ministry for at least 45
Maybe 50
years,
or so,
maybe
yeah.
60. I know he's been in the prophetic for like 60 years or more.
Mm-hmm.
And in his books, he talks about even when you're a seasoned prophet, that you should have people that are pouring into you.
Yep.
And that when you get in certain type of prophetic words, you should submit those words to your overseer, the person that's overseeing you, right? Or that's your mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And he says it's extremely rare when there's someone that does not have a mentor. And he goes, generally it's because you've seasoned out.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
and I heard that more of in a personal conference that I went to a prophetic conference with my wife once that he was ministering at. And he's already, at that point, he was already well up in his age. And he was seated most of the time. So that tells you he was up in his age quite well.
Yeah.
But the thing
he's
is,
like 70 or 80 now, isn't he?
he is. And so basically he's saying, unless you're just so old that nobody else is still alive that can really mentor you because they don't have the experience level, you have no excuse not to have somebody that can pour into your life and can give you insight on if those words are truly from God. And the words that he was really referring to are life-changing directional words. And the reason he was saying that it's so critical is that a lot of times people forget we're human beings. We're emotional beings. Mm-hmm. And if somebody goes, oh, the Lord told me that so-and-so should be married to so-and-so, or the Lord told me that this is my wife, your emotions can get in the middle of that. It is best to take that to your mentor, let them pray over it with you, and let the Holy Spirit guide and direct, because guess what? If there's peace in it, then it's going to be good.
Yeah.
But if there's no peace, there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is when your emotions get in the middle of it, sometimes your emotions will lie to you. Mm-hmm. They'll tell you everything's good, and really they're not. It's a little more chaotic than you're trying to let it be because you're so infatuated with the situation. It can even be that way with the job, Vince. Think about it. Guys,
Yeah.
y'all have been a little quiet over here. So
No. So actually, I want to talk about the job. Actually, so me personally, I'm a fitness. I work at Fitness Connection as a manager, operational manager in Mesquite, and so I took it as a duty for me when I first got put on this position, that no matter what, I wanted to make sure that I'm developing a family, I'm developing a team, I'm developing people that are not just trying to succeed here at Fitness Connection, but also at life, at home, at whatever they're trying to be.
Oh, there you go.
And so, like, for instance, like I pulled Ashton aside and I said, hey, Ashton, I just want to talk to you for a little bit. I have some questions for you. And my boy said, all right, cool, I got you. He comes in my office, and I simply just asked him questions. I was like, I'm just going to ask you some questions. I want your honest opinions. And I said, yo, what's something that you've been through 3 OMs already since you've been here. You've been here less than a year. What are some of the changes that you did not like? What are some of the changes that you did like? And how can we better this team? And that's like something I did in the very beginning. He looked at me and said, I love the fact that you are now our OM. And I said, why?
Wow.
I said, why? And he said, for the simple fact that you care. Like, no one's ever done this. Not when we got hired, not when we got, nothing. No one's ever took the time to know their team. You have worked with us, and now you have also been a part of management. We already see the growth in you, and we cannot wait to see what you can do for this team. And so, but I looked at him and I said, my biggest thing is I don't want y'all to just succeed here. I want y'all to succeed at life. And like, if you look, like, he's in college, he's in college age. And so I tell him all the time, like, bro, if you are ever too tired, you let me know ASAP. You can come in late for work or whatever it is, because you're just studying too hard. Or if you need to leave work sooner, then let me know ASAP. I'll cover your shift. I don't care. Mm-hmm. And so when it comes to mentorship, like, it's not just like finding that one person that you can always pour into. If you're in a management position, in my opinion, you are a mentor. You're making many versions of you.
You should be.
You should be.
I mean, because I agree with you.
Yeah.
my personal view on a manager in the proper perspective is more of a servant leader.
Yes.
But there's a lot of different people, even in the church sometimes, that feel like, I'm the apostle, so I'm the top of the pyramid. Well, the biblical view of that is the apostle is like the bottom of the servant leadership model, where he's at the bottom and he's
part of the foundation.
His hands are up, but his hands are what's holding up the floor of the others that are technically under him, but really he's under them, supporting and girding them up. And doing exactly what you're doing. Yeah, literally, he's the role of the apostle is to build up and equip, and really, he should always champion those people to become better than himself.
Mm-hmm. It's like your ceiling in that position. Your ceiling is everyone else's floor.
Absolutely.
The one thing that I love to always do to my team before I leave, before I go on lunch break, before I do anything, other than like my typical job that requires me what I need to do, is I'll look at my team and be like, how can I help you today?
There you go.
That's servant leadership.
And that's just something that's just like, what will make your job easier, better, and a little bit lighter than normal? And they normally tell me, like, yeah.
I love it.
So,
Nathaniel, I know you're not into the working world at the moment, but I know that you've had enough experience in life at this point to where you can kind of look at what we've just talked about with servant leadership versus I'm on the top and looking down at everyone else. What is your thoughts on that?
With servant leadership, I feel like it's not about, it is about having people who are below you, you bring them up to above you or your level. But I also feel like it's you bringing yourself down to their level. You bring yourself to handle yourself in a position, like you're in a position of power. You don't overextend yourself. You don't bring yourself to a point of, like, I'm better than you. You bring yourself down to their level of, like what Chad said about him saying how he asks his team how he can help them. You do that. You don't bring yourself to a thing of, like, I'm better than you. Why do I have to help you?
There you go.
Like, I'm in a higher spot than you, so you should just serve me. I remember coming into there's a couple positions I've worked in churches where I remember walking into one of them, and it wasn't very long before I realized, oh, this is going to be really, really fun. Because
I can almost hear the sarcasm in your voice.
You should be, because I'm laying it on pretty thick. But the guy who is the lead pastor was really, really had this. So it was a little bit mixture of like arrogance and old school mentality, right? The old school mentality was, I'm in this position of leadership, so it's like, you do what I say. Don't question me, just do what I say, right?
Right.
The reason is because I said it. That's it, right? It's that old school, even parenting model that we came up with. And
I mean, some of that's not wrong. However, there's
some of it is, I said do it, so go do it.
But there is a point where it's like, okay, if you gave a little direction, it would help with the I want to for your team, right?
Well, give it a little purpose, like why, like, okay, I'm asking you to do this.
Children and employee.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? Because a child it should just do it because they're told, because they're learning, they're being trained by their parents, and many times you can't really explain to them because it'll take so long in the moment when you're telling them to do that certain task, or don't do this because it's going to cut your hand off. it needs to just happen.
Yeah.
You know, because think about it. It's like you're mowing the lawn, son. Don't put your hand in there.
Yeah, don't put your hand in when the blade's moving.
This is not something that you have time to really discuss.
Wham,
This is
wham.
that don't do it.
Yeah.
It's like don't put your hand in the fire situation, right? But when you are dealing with adults and you're trying to direct and guide them, if you don't give them a reason, many times that I want to do the thing doesn't happen. And what happens when you don't have a want to as an adult?
Well, I know. So, I'm sorry. I know for me, I have figured and learned that there's occasions where you be like, I need you to do this and I need you to do it now. You don't have an opportunity to give the why to it, but you can make up for that by being like, listen, I just need you to go do this now. I'll give you the deets after we're done, right?
Right.
And that just comes with trust with
and that comes with trust. And as you've built that, though, they're like, yeah, no worries. And then after they'll come back to you, even if you forget, and they're like, hey, what happened? What was going on? You're like, oh, yeah, okay, well, this is what went down. I've done that to you a couple of times. I'm like, Chad, go do this, go do that. And then later on, you're like, what happened? And I was like, and I'll explain what it was. So.
The very first instruction you ever gave me was, by the way, I need you to go look up a Bible verse for me real quick. And I was like, this is day 2 of your class. And you just look at me like that. And I'm like, you don't even know who I am, but yet you just told me to do that. I can do it for you, but let me type it up right quick. You know? But no, something that I also love, like, are the one thing that I will say that I love to do with my team, like I said, I'm trying to develop mini-me's, is I love to make sure that, I always like to make sure that I give them a reason. The biggest reason is obviously, like, yes, this is part of your job. But at the same time, I look at them like, if I allow you to do something for me, then that means I'm trusting you. I'm trying to help you develop. And if I'm trusting you, then that means that you are becoming developed, and that means that you potentially can see about getting a promotion, you know?
Dude, I'm just going to have to pause real quick and just acknowledge the fact that you just said mini-me.
Mini-me.
I mean, that's a throwback to some movies that we all saw, you know,
years
and years ago when we were teenagers. So it almost dates us a little bit.
$1 million, yeah.
It's $1 million. But
oh my gosh, that movie?
Yeah,
that's the movie.
That's the movie. But as you can tell, folks, we're recording this one in person today, which makes it a whole lot more fun.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
And a lot more engaging in the conversation, which I love it. So, you know, hopefully the Lord will bless us with a way to have like a studio or something at some point.
Absolutely.
That would be awesome.
Great. That would be super cool.
But I love what you guys are saying. I mean, I completely agree that having the ability to pour into somebody and to say, look, this is why you need to be doing this. This is the reason behind this. It helps give the person I want to do better. I want to, you know, align myself in a way that will bring glory to the Lord, right?
Absolutely.
Or even like you were saying, Chad, with your employees, you're showing interest in them. You're talking to them about what you want to see them do, but then you're opening up to say, hey, how can I help you? Right? It's not, you're not saying I'm going to do all of your work for you, but you're like, how can I support you? How can I help you be the best version of yourself you can be? So now they have buy-in because you've opened yourself up and you've given them the door to say, hey, I need some help. Now they've bought in to the team, and now they're going to be more willing to be involved, more willing to grow. And honestly, I think they're going to be more challenged to step up to the plate.
Actually, speaking of that, I will say this when it comes to not just me or anything, but my boss, the one that's over me, he actually he comes to me a lot about different things, especially when it comes to specifically my front desk team. And so, but one thing that I love seeing is the fact that our doors are open to prayer.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like my boss straight up pulled Elijah, who's one of my front desk, pulls him out from the front desk and said, hey, is there something I can pray for you over? And he was like, yeah, me an apartment. I was like, okay, cool, let's pray. So I mean, like I mean, what work environment? Like, you don't see those anymore these days.
We should.
Not often.
And the reason I say that is I have a buddy, a very close friend of mine.
Not Vincent.
Not,
Not Vincent.
No, Vincent's a pretty good buddy, but he doesn't work in the right environment for this. This guy works in a Fortune 500 company, and they're a big LGBTQ, gay pride and all that stuff, as in they're really pushing the agenda type of thing, right? Well, it's been a stress for him, a huge stress. But one day, he and I were talking, he goes, you know what? I just realized something. This DEI thing applies to me too. I'm like, what do you mean it applies to you, dude? And he goes, well, if they're pushing equality for all of this, he goes, that means that they have to accept my diversity as well. He goes, because me being a Christian is another form of diversity. He goes, so if they want to accept one diversity, they have to accept another.
All, yeah.
And
I
don't get excited about that, but you know.
Well, I think the thing that we, as believers, what we have to begin to think to ourselves is, wait a minute. We live in an environment that we perceive as being 100% against us. But the reality is even if they're against us, what they're doing to try to destroy us can be used against them. And it's not that we're trying to bring harm. We're not trying to hurt, but we're taking a stand for our faith and saying, look, we're not going to be pushed around. We're not going to be shoved into a corner. And absolutely, we're not going to let fear dictate the way that we work, the way that we operate. We're going to be wise as serpents and innocent as doves, right? But at the same time, we've got to make sure that we're making an impact on those people around us. And speaking of impact, I understand that there's a little bit of mentorship going on over here.
Yes.
So let's talk about, Chad, y'all's experience being the mentor and the mentee.
Do you want to start us off?
Yeah, sure. But at least from my perspective, I know it's different with Chad. For me, at least right now, it's not of him telling me like, hey, like, how's it going, like that. It's more of we hang out, we have fun, and with that, he tells me like, hey, this is like stuff like that, like this is good, this is not, like that.
Quick little life lessons.
Yeah, like life lessons, but we don't sit down talk about it like we should, but we don't. And it's just like we hang out, we have fun, we like. I don't know how to explain it. We have fun.
Almost like an older brother.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I don't think that that's wrong. I mean, because if you think about it, we're all in different stages of life. He's meeting you where you are. You're not 40 years old or 30 years old, where just sitting over a cup of coffee is really going to, suit your jam at this point.
Exactly.
I mean, maybe it could, but it's not the norm, right? But for you to feel comfortable to let your guard down, you need something that makes you laugh. You need something that kind of breaks the tension from the norm, and then conversation begins to freely flow. And so when those conversations begin to happen, that's when Holy Spirit can get in the middle of it and say, wait a minute, there is an area we need to identify. This is not okay. Let's address that.
Not only that, I will say this: when like me and him kind of watches a similar like kind of TV show styles and everything like that, and so but he'll bring up something like, "What do you think about that?" And I'll be like, "Well, I personally believe this, and the Bible says this."
Right.
And so it's like just recognizing like our common denominators, and whenever a thing just kind of gets brought up, it doesn't even have to be us talking about it. It can be something that we just overheard, and it's like, how do we handle that?
Or a reel or something like that.
But having those conversations are good.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's good for people like me and Vince, the old men of the room, to be able to have that kind of conversation. It's also good for the young bucks like you two to be able to have conversations. But the thing is there also needs to be conversations between the generations.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's one of the areas that I want to touch on when it comes to mentorship. And I want to bring a challenge to people within the church is, why don't we have more multi-generational conversations happening? Yeah. And the reason is because the young need the old and the old need the young. I mean, think about it. There's situations in our life, to where we've grown up over the years, Vince, we realized it took us a while to humble ourselves, but we realized we needed the older generation's advice.
Right.
And then when we would get, once we got older, we're looking at some of the young people and like, if they would just take advice, they wouldn't be going through the hell on earth that they're currently going through, because they're putting themselves through trials that we've already had victory over. And if they would just listen, we could tell them how to cut this thing in half or less.
Yeah, like one of the things I tell everybody that I mentor is like there's two basic ways that you're going to learn. You're either going to learn the hard way, or you're going to learn from gleaning or taking that information from what somebody else went through, and then you can apply it to your life without having to go through that same pain.
That's right.
I will say this when it comes to this generation, I'm talking about me and Nani, obviously, is here's the thing, and this is not how I feel. I'm pretty sure this is not how Nathaniel feels, but we have Google. We have Google. We have AI now. Like now AI is getting developed. So people like us are starting to feel like, why do we need to know what y'all went through whenever we can actually see what the future holds? You know? And so
yeah, I can kind of understand that. The flaw in that is that having faith based on AI or faith based on Google means you're getting whatever the popular narrative is, not necessarily what the truth is.
Exactly. And
go ahead.
That's one of the reasons why I feel like that my generation is just going to accept is the fact that, listen, we have Google, we have the internet, we have this, we have that, and then the third, okay, cool, but you don't have the experience. And without that experience, so the way that I went back to the church after I left the church, is I went into a men's only group that had literally elders in it. And I'm talking about like people that are like 60, 70, 80 years old. Oh, yeah. And not only that, there was a few couples that were, there was a few guys that were 30 in their 40s, and they just are either married or they're struggling through their marriages right now. But yet I was in hunger of connection. I was in hunger of, I need to get closer to God. How can I do that? Going to the elders was the best way, in my opinion. And so that was something real big for me to make sure that I can understand, like, hey, listen, I need to understand what happened in the past so I can be prepared for my future.
See, that's the key right there. That's the key ingredient. So, yeah, you can get information from Google. You can get information from AI, but you can't get human connection.
Exactly.
And it's the human connection that really bridges the gap. So, like, learning information is one thing, and applying information is another thing. And so you can learn it and then try to figure out how to apply it. But when you can attach someone's story to it and go, okay, here's that information you said you read up on, right? That's great. Books have been doing that long before Google and
AI and all. Yep.
Right. Before Google and AI, there were books. There were articles, there were newspapers, there's magazines, all that stuff all existed, right?
Yeah.
Prior to it being at the touch of your hand, you had to work to find it a little more so, but it still existed. Just like the whole idea of propaganda existing pre the internet. It always existed, just in different ways and different forms and in more limited scopes because it wasn't international reach in like 2 seconds. But it's that human connection of somebody looking you in the eyes and say, I understand what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it's not the exact same as what you went through, here's what happened with me.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're doing that and you're allowing Holy Spirit to be in the center of it, again, another key that can only exist in this situation, Holy Spirit can begin to talk to them through your story, and they're pulling bits and pieces out of it that they may not have even realized that they needed, and they might not have gotten from reading an article.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Is that interconnection, in my opinion?
Right.
Well, I think that the human connection, the relationship, gives it validity.
Absolutely.
You know, because there's a sincerity when you talk to someone and they've been through what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I've told my kids, and I've told some other people as well that I've been mentoring. You never want to get advice from someone that's going through the same crap that you're going through. Because if they're in the same hole, then they're just going to celebrate what you're going through. What you want to do is you want to, right?
Yeah.
Let's just think about it. If you want to find someone that's had victory, that means that they can pull you up out of that hole.
Mm-hmm.
And they can help, that way they can help you get out of the wrong thinking, and then they can celebrate the true victory, not that you're feeling right about the situation. But instead they can say, look, this is the way you really should be looking at this, or look, this is the way you need to be handling this.
If you're the number one guy in every category, and you're in one room out of 10 people, you're in the wrong room.
There you go.
Yeah.
With the whole somebody in the same hole as you, I just thought if somebody's going through the same thing as you and you talk to them, they're not grabbing a ladder, they're grabbing a shovel.
Oh my
Ooh.
goodness, that's some good insight. I
Dang,
like that. That's,
what?
man, you just dropping that knowledge on us, man.
So, you know, the other thing about that, too, is sometimes it's not that you're throwing a rope in to help pull them out. Sometimes it's okay, listen, stop freaking out. Look around you. Everything you need to build that ladder is literally sitting in
Right.
the hole with you.
Yes.
Or maybe some of the things in the hole you have to repurpose and use it to help you dig out of that hole, right?
There you go.
Or that shovel that you're using to dig, if you just put some notches in the wall as you go up, you can use it to climb up out of the hole. And you're like, yeah, okay, whatever. That's imaginative, Vince. That's great. But some things we're not meant to have someone pull us out of except for God.
Yep.
And even through those things, some things God's like, okay, I'm going to teach you how to walk through this or walk out of this, because you need to have that experience. You need to have that strength. You need to, if God just pulled you out of every single thing and didn't say, hey, get up and walk, you'd have zero muscles. You'd have zero ability to do things, spiritually or otherwise, and emotionally and all. And so by going and walking through it or climbing out of it, it's developing a strength in you. It's developing a resiliency in you, which again leads to Scripture, right? Patience leads to endurance. Endurance leads to character. Character leads, and I might have those in some bad orders, messed up orders. So forgive me for that. But eventually, it leads
It's
to.
okay. It's the Vince interpretation.
That's
version.
right. But the point I was getting to is that at the end, it leads to spiritual maturity.
Yep.
And so you can't just wait for someone to pull you out of a hole. And I get the digging yourself deeper, because I've done that. And then when you have people in with you to commiserate or to be like, hey, let's dig this hole deeper, let's go. And you're like, yeah, let's go, woo. Sometimes you need a voice going, hey, what are you doing down there?
Oh, yeah.
to call out and be like, hey, you know you're heading that way, right? Were you doing that on purpose? No, we're trying to dig. And, you know, so
Dig our way out.
Yeah, we're trying to dig our way out. It's like,
we're digging to China.
or if you're like, we stopped digging down, but we're digging out. Okay, but if you keep digging out that way, there's a sheer cliff, and you're just gonna go and fall.
We don't
off
want to
of
be
it.
like the little lemurs, or I'm sorry, the little what are those little?
The lemurs.
lemurs.
No, not lemurs. Lemmings.
That's right, the lemmings.
Lemmings.
We don't want to be like the lemmings where one just starts running and they all start chasing after him
following,
and follow off
and
the
they'll
cliff.
roll. Yep, they'll run right off the cliff. Yeah. It's
And they don't even pay attention. They just go. They just follow.
Yeah. Well, like one of the things I remember telling Chad before he got this position, and I tell this to most of the guys that I mentor, especially if they're going into a leadership thing, is even if these people work for you or they work with you, you don't have to demand that they do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't do that with my own kids. I don't demand, hey, like you live in my house. I mean, the fact that you have food and a place to live, that should be enough, right? I could just say, go take out the garbage. Go do the dishes. That's not typically how I address, especially like Nathaniel right now. I mean, he's 17. He's almost 18 years old. He'll be 18 in what, a couple weeks, basically. And most of the time, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but most of the time I say, hey, do you mind taking out the garbage? Hey, can you do the dishes for me, please? Or
And then
It's a
you,
simple
if
ask.
I can't, then you do it.
right. Well, that was a lesson right there. If he can't do it, then I will do it. But maybe it's because I'm busy. And be honest, there's times where I'm like, Nathaniel, could you just do the dishes for me? I'm out of it. I'm tired. I didn't sleep last night or something like that. And we're like, I don't really want to do this. But then he'll do it. Because I asked it of him. And
Well, let's just be real. Nobody wants to do dishes.
no, nobody wants to do dishes.
At least I don't know anyone who enjoys doing the dishes.
Actually, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oh my goodness!
Are you the one?
Yes.
You're the one.
He's the one in the
Wow.
million that likes to do the dishes.
No. Here's the thing. Now, granted, I would not do dishes in my own house. I will say that. I don't know why, but every time,
That is.
Okay, this is like contradictory here.
no, right, no.
I got some
But
dishes at my house.
every time I go visit someone's house that is like what's called like a friend of mine, I will look at like the sink first most of the time, or if it's like just not clear view, then I'm gonna look at it. But I'll look at them and be like, "What's going on? Like, why is there a pile of dishes? Can I?"
Well, you know what? We're going to hook him up next time. Next time we do this, I'm going to tell my wife say, hey, for the next 3 or 4 days, don't do any dishes. We're going to have the guys come over for breakfast.
Right. We'll do the podcast at the house.
He has this thing to where when he comes over, he has to do the dishes. So
like I
he's
just
got you.
If it's a whole pile, okay. There was one time I went over to one of my friend's house. This is during like massage therapy school. It's just like I'm talking about like back in 2019, and they have
so long ago.
Yeah, hey, they have 3 kids. They have 5 people, like 5 adults, grown adults, like living with them. And I'm telling you, these dishes look like they have not been done for like almost maybe a week or 2.
Oh,
and I just look at them and I said,
nasty.
"Would it be helpful if I just did the dishes for y'all?" And they all looked at me like, "You do dishes?" I was like,
okay, that's a little different though. That's more of like I'm just trying to serve and be helpful. But I'm talking about like we're talking about just regular doing the chores at the house. Dishes are not many. There's a few out there that are like if they had to pick a thing to do, they'd rather do the dishes than vacuum or sweep. Or
my wife is super clean. She loves things to be like
nice and tight,
pristine, clean, and then like to the point to where you're
it's
like,
not
oh
our house,
not at all.
But the thing is I don't think she enjoys doing the dishes. I think she enjoys the result of doing the dishes.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people do enjoy the result of cleaning, but
because if anyone does the dishes on the regular at our house, it would be my wife. My kids and I,
Nope.
we cannot take the credit. I'm good about putting things in the dishwasher and making sure it gets there, but unless it's the protein shake blender, it probably doesn't get cleaned. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to be real.
Get the high protein
We've developed a routine, though, like at this point, especially when it got down to where it was just my wife and I and Nathaniel in the house. Whenever we use an actual dish, when we're done with it, we rinse it out.
There you
We
go.
typically don't leave water in it, like unless it like has to soak. And even then, it's like we use it like overnight, and then we rinse. We have the one where you can switch to the powerful.
Yeah, that's
thing.
what I ended up putting one of those in for my wife too.
So
And that's what we started doing too.
Right, and so we rinse it out, and even if it sits on the counter for 4 days, it's completely rinsed out, so it's fine. It's not gathering anything or growing anything. I mean, honestly, there's sometimes we could have just threw it in the dishwasher. We just
Chad, it sounds like a confession to me.
didn't, but.
a little bit.
But that's kind of our thing. Like, so we'll do that, and then when we get enough, we throw it in the dishwasher, and we run the dishwasher. And y'all are like, I know people out there going, okay, you guys went really far off the deep end. But, I mean, it still kind of relates to life, and it still kind of relates to the organicness of mentorship and telling the guys that this is the interaction I have with my own child.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to be interacting and talking with people who are not biologically related to you in most cases. So why do you think you get the right to order them around? Like it's not, it doesn't matter what position you occupy, CEO, the lowest manager that exists, whatever it is, team lead, you have to, and like you had said, how can I help you today? What can I do to help you succeed today? Or, you know, different people have it said different ways that, whatever, but the gist is to help build your people up so that they too can end up being like that. You don't want a bunch of people that are butt heads being managers. We have enough of those nowadays. We don't need that anymore. We need people who are genuinely like care, who genuinely like.
Sorry, I was about to sneeze. I was trying to keep that.
We have people that genuinely like. You need to have people that are positive about that. And the truth of the matter is that actually is more attractive to you as far as when you're looking at a higher position and they start interviewing people that work for you. They go, okay, well, what are they like? What is this? And like Nathaniel had said, if I ask him to do it and he can't, then I do it. I'll do the garbage. I'll do the dishes. Or if it's like, okay, we just had a big thing, we cleaned out a lot. We got a lot of garbage. Can you take that out? He's like, okay, fine. He won't ask me. Most of the time, he won't ask for help. He'll just start doing it. But I'll grab, like, we'll make, instead of him doing 4 or 5 trips, we'll try to make it 2, and we'll both work to do it together.
Well, I think there's multiple dynamics because not every child's the same.
That's true.
Like for an example, there's a.
Like
I've recently started to require my boys to take the trash out from our upstairs. I take the downstairs out, but it's like if I don't remind them to do it,
yeah,
it's like they're in another world. The trash will be running out over the trash bins in their room. It's like, kid, really? Empty the
Same.
bin. Empty
I
the
need
bin.
to get reminded a lot.
You know, so what
Same
I've
as
done
well.
is every morning on trash day, I'm like, boys, take out the trash. They know I don't mean the entire house. I've already taken everything out from downstairs. They're responsible to take care of everything upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And their mother's like, well, just go do it. I'm like, no.
I think
They
in
need
that
to be
sense,
taught
yeah.
responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
They need to learn the habit. And I know from experience from when I was their age, if they don't learn that habit now, later on, they're going to be doing the exact same thing with their wife. And you don't want to be hearing that from their spouse.
No, I pay for that. I still to this day in some ways pay for that, for not having that when I was younger.
Yeah.
Because I struggle. Like there's times where I'm even asking Nathaniel, I'm like, hey, can you just help me to remember to do this? Because for me, I literally will, it might be in my mind at 9 a.m., but by noon when I have the opportunity to do it.
Vince, I'm going to tell you something my
I
wife has
won't.
told me on multiple occasions. And
Oh,
this will be
Lord.
close to our wrapping up point.
Going to be
but you-
corrected by his wife via him.
That's
No.
it.
That's
Use
the
your
way-
smartphone for smart things.
I do not like that because now I have no excuse.
That-
Wait,
my
I tell
wife was-
Nathaniel that though all the time.
My wife has told me that so many times. It finally stuck. Then, because there for a while, I started using it for smart things, but then I would forget to forget to look at
It
it.
just seems like okay,
then I
I
found an
can't
app
be
that would
that stupid that I
nag
need
me.
to set an alarm to do the, and then you're
Oh,
like,
I will feel
It's
so
not about being stupid. It's about being
bewildered, like-
distracted.
well, that's what I'm saying. But like, it feels like if I'm setting an alarm for this, I'm a fool, because who needs an alarm to remind them to clean this?
Yep.
And
I do.
then later that night, you're like, I should have said something so I could have cleaned it.
Okay, let's think about it this way though. You know how my schedule is,
Yeah,
and you know how I tend to throw so much stuff in the middle of that schedule.
yeah. You need
Oh,
a regular.
gosh.
So if I don't
Cleaning.
have something that keeps me on task, I'm done.
He needs a regular schedule cleaning.
I do. Because
Clean your plate.
I stay very busy. But my wife also knows that I love that. That's why a lot of times, she may not prefer that I go to the gym almost every day, but she knows, okay, he needs something to get rid of this excess energy he has. And if he doesn't do it, he's stir crazy. I remember not long ago, my wife looked at me. She goes, "You need to find a hobby or something. You're driving me nuts." Because I was pacing all over the house. And I'm literally pacing all over the house, and I'm getting in the middle of stuff. And she's like, "You need to find a hobby."
That's yeah.
But that's the thing. You know,
it's
we
bad.
we all need to learn
Remember
who
how-
we are, what we need to do, what we need to take care of. Let's throw a challenge out for everybody.
Okay.
My challenge would be, number one, find someone, if you don't already have someone, that you can mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying guys find a woman or a woman find a guy.
Absolutely
No.
not.
That
No,
is not
no, no, no,
appropriate.
no.
No.
It is not appropriate to mentor across genders because there's too much room for other problems.
Mm-hmm.
All of us have been in Bible school, and we were taught that that's a no-no.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because that you're opening doors that possibly that shouldn't be open.
Yep.
If we see in the comments anyone saying, but they said, no, we did not. We said men find men, women find women.
That's exactly right. And the reason for that is you're trying to make sure you don't give room for the enemy to throw in temptation.
Temptations,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And the reality is God made us biological humans. Why? Because he knew that we needed something to draw ourselves to the other sex, because men and women are so drastically different that if we didn't have that draw, that we wouldn't pay attention to each other. That's just reality, right? So the thing is we don't want to even give room to the biological side of it
No.
to put us in a situation where we could lose all that we've worked for.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my challenge is to go find someone that you can mentor that's appropriate, right?
Yep.
And then regularly schedule it. Like we talked to Vince about just a second ago, and like my wife said to me, use your smartphone for smart things and remind yourself to meet or call this person on a regular basis and pour into them.
Mm-hmm.
And allow them to ask you questions. And if you don't know, tell them you don't know. It's okay. But then you go, if you don't know, study it out yourself. That way the next time you have that information, challenge yourself. Be bold and allow yourself to be inconvenienced. That's my challenge to you.
Absolutely.
Can I throw a little thing in there, like a disclaimer in there? Don't walk up to someone and force yourself. I'm going to mentor you. Don't do that. Let it be more of a natural.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Vince.
Yeah.
That would be a little bit weird. And that's almost like thinking a little too highly of yourself at that point.
Right.
But the idea, though, is you can find people to mentor.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can be a silent mentor. Think about it. You don't have to help someone you're mentoring them to mentor them.
Mm-hmm.
You can become a partner in their life,
Yeah.
so to speak. And when I say partner, it's like you're a co-worker, co-laborer,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Well, even what they described as their relationship earlier, that kind
Exactly.
of brother.
But you
thing.
know, because the way the Lord begins to use you, that He's using you to begin to mold and shape and mentor them,
Mm-hmm.
and you allow yourself to be inconvenienced. Like you said, Chad, you're engaged, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now your time is a whole lot different than it used to be.
Oh, absolutely.
But there might be a day when the Lord says, okay, I need you to mentor John. And you may tell your future wife, hey, I need to take half an hour or an hour a day out just after work to meet John
Mm-hmm.
for coffee once a week. And so we can just talk.
Mm-hmm.
He's going through some things. We just need to get, I need to give him some air, some room to where he can
Absolutely. Yeah,
breathe
yeah,
and
yeah.
kind of talk about some things, and so that the Lord can pour into him as he shows me how to do that. But if we don't inconvenience ourselves, and I
Mhm.
know that's like cussing, but if we don't inconvenience ourselves, the reality is nothing will happen.
That's accurate. Yeah, I mean, Nathaniel sees it at home. There's occasions after a certain time in the evening where most everybody knows, don't call me after this time unless there's something legit happening. You can text me, it's fine, but don't call me because it's family time. So if they do call me, that means they're either in some sort of crisis mode or, and I get it. Most people, crisis for them is an individual thing, right? You might be like, really, that's your crisis? Seriously? But for them, it's legit. So I get it. And Gina and I are at this place in our marriage now where she understands. Even if she's like, really? You're about to get up, like we're in the middle of a movie or something like that. I'm like, I'm going to go as quick as I can. And I'll go off into the other room and handle what needs to be handled. Most times it's not very long. It's usually, they just need someone to talk through something with them or just hear them out. And that's, a lot of times, that's 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes. And truth be told, a lot of times I didn't say much. I didn't really say a whole lot of nothing. I will basically regurgitate what they just told me and say, okay, so what I hear you saying is this, X, Y, and Z. And they're like, yeah, exactly. I was like, so, okay. And then I'll kind of rehash. Here's the situation. Here's what you're telling me you said. Here's what you're telling me happened. Where's the problem? Or where's this? Is it emotional? Are you just struggling to wrap your head around it? And once you kind of identify certain things, key factors, sometimes you don't have to say, you said that earlier, you don't have to say a whole lot.
Right.
It's just being that you're there and that they know that there's a point of contact that exists for them. Again, something you can't get on Google or Chat GPT, although there apparently is people that are trying to find a way to date AI.
Well, there was an article with some dude that married one of his AI assistants or something, which I thought was the absolute most insane thing I've ever
That's
heard
like saying, oh, yeah, the guy that
And they
married
got
his cell
divorced.
phone or
Oh, they got a divorce?
They got divorced.
or what is it, like they married, like somebody married like a desk or something, like, I don't know, weird. People have married weird things or say they married weird things. And most of the time I just assume it's some sort of gimmick and they're looking for a few minutes of popularity or fame. But
All right, before we wrap this up, anybody have any sage advice or last minute comments or something that they would like to throw out there?
Addie as well. With the whole silent mentoring thing, and that is when somebody comes to you with a problem, sometimes you just have to have them figure it out. You don't force yourself to figure out the problem for them, because what's it called? Jesus didn't tell Noah how. Jesus didn't help Noah build the ark. He told him how to build it. We don't have to tell people how to fix it. Sometimes they just have to figure out how to fix it while you just listen to them.
Sounding board. That's good.
There you go.
I will also say this, going back to like what's called like now obviously I am not married, but going back to like the marriage kind of topic, it's also the fact that basically y'all are both mentoring each other. Like you and your wife are mentoring each other because, like, I mean, let's be real. The man has to be the spiritual man that he's called to be from God, and guides his wife, it guides his family. And so another thing I want to bring up about that too is just making sure that you are, how do you say, just like how I said about work, asking how can I best serve you, you do that for each other. How can she best serve you, and how can you best serve her? Okay, because it's maintenance. A house, whenever you have kids, it's maintenance work. Okay, whenever you have finances together, it's maintenance work.
There you go.
You know, so
Keeps cussing, saying that word work.
No, it's a 4-letter word there. I don't know what to think about that. Well, guys, if you've been challenged, hurt, offended, or even thoroughly enjoyed this show today, we want you to share it with somebody.
That's right.
Especially if it's offended someone, because that it be an equal opportunist when it comes to offense.
Yeah, we like to do that.
Challenge them, because the hope is that this conversation will draw you into the Word of God and help you to study it out so that you'll become even more firmly founded within your faith.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, if you would like to support us, you can go to mooseministries.org. You can contact us by emailing us at uncomfortable@mooseministries.org as well. God bless y'all and have a wonderful day.
Stay uncomfortable.